Hey folks, welcome back to another episode of Wray's Garage. Now we are in the midst of a rather invasive version of suspension strut replacement with the GRZ RS2s. But along the way, we have identified some other challenges, as you can probably see from this empty space, which should be containing a lot of suspension components. And so the short story here is, the deeper I got into the project, the more issues I found with this 7-year-old vehicle. And once you're in here, once you've taken it apart to this extent, in my opinion, especially based on my findings, it just made sense to replace a lot of these components. So I have this rather flaccid friend here, which is our inner tie rod, which initially I'd only gotten a new outer tie rod because I'd destroyed, let me see if I can find it, the boot in the process of removing it from the arm, actually from here, the knuckle. So I took a 21 and 22 mil wrench and put one on here and one on here, and then loosened this bolt right here. And the reason I'm bringing you in is because we want to try and get this the same length when we put the new tie rod in. Now, because it's drooping so badly, it only makes sense that I get a whole new unit. So initially I'd only ordered the end here, but I need the outer. I need the inner too. So I'm going to count how many rotations it takes to get this to free up from the inner rod, and then I'm going to put it back on there so I can measure it against the new units once they all come in. So I want it to be roughly the same length, and that was that. So now let's just count them out. 1, 2, 6. So between 25 and 26 rotations. Now I need to go to an auto store to rent the unit that when I free up this bellow in here, which I already loosened this part, I need to loosen the back part, get the bellow out, and get a special wrench unit which sits over this rod, grabs the connecting end, which screws in to the steering rack, loosen that up, get it out. We can take this off now, so I was protecting that. And you can see here, this is the, I hope you can see here, this is the flaccid inner tie rod. And so we have a special tool, which I believe you can actually rent these things, but for the money I just decided that I would give Amazon some cash. So this is a inner tie rod wrench. It has a, I'm guessing that's it looks like a 1/2 inch socket on the end there. And then here is where you'll insert one of these inserts, which matches up with the square side of that inner tie rod, which we'll identify here shortly. I understand them to be 32 millimeters, and I think there's a 32.5 in this set. The other reason I did buy this set is it had more options in it as far as the adapters. It had SAE as well as metric, so I felt like that was a good bet. All right, so in testing out all these adapters here, the one that seems to be fitting around there that I hope you can see is the 1 7/16. So 32 was not the answer for my car. I've seen that on other places. So I think more options, more better. And so for me, I'm going to try this 1 7/16, just under 1.5. Seems to be pretty snug here. Go ahead and thread that needle. All right, well that seems to, well, except it's not on. No, because it's not on that side. Go on your home. All right, you locked in now? Yeah. All right, back up. All right, I think it's on there. Let's see if we can clear the fender with this. Should be all right to release it. Oh no. It seems like it's not grabbing enough. Maybe too big. Well, I'm gonna give this another try because My next one down is not getting it done. And maybe I'll go back to the metric if this is another failed attempt here. Okay. Locked on. Oh, did we get it? Feels like we got it. Or are we just spinning our wheels here? Nope. All right. Heck yeah. You ready? Like a magician. There it is. And 1.7 was the answer. So more user error there. And there's our inner tie rod. So what I did, in addition to loving that tool, I bought the TRW. I want to say I got it from Pelican Parts. So here's the new inner rod. This is the OEM manufacturer, TRW. And I got this set because it comes with the new bellow and all the other cool stuff to put it back on, which is a really crazy bracket. And one thing and another is to get the bellow to protect the steering rack in there from getting dust and crap in there. So we're gonna take a look at this side by side, make sure they're the same size, which they are. And then, well, let's see how easy that is to move. Let's see how this new one is. Oh yeah, quite different, although maybe not. Who knows, maybe I'm replacing this unnecessarily. So we're gonna reinsert this at 55 foot-pounds, and yeah, away we go. Make sure it's the same. I'll adapt the, look at that. Dramatically different on the threads there, so glad we have more options down here. Let's see if it goes to that 32. Well, I'd say, yeah, that's probably gonna get it done. So this is the 32.5mm adapter on this particular set that I bought. And I think a 32 would be dead flush. It's just a hair big, but based on how it's grabbing, I think it'll get us to 55 foot-pounds. I'm gonna guide it in by hand. No sense in trying to use tools for the easy part. All right, that's in there. Let's set this over. I've got the green monster here. Lock it on. All right, so we've got this guy dialed in at 55. Let's see if we can lock it in here. 27, 50. All right. We're home. Get a little extra juice. All right. Take that off. And that is in there. So here's the bellow, and here's this little clippy that's going to hold it onto the end, or bracket. Clip. I think it's a clip. So it's got this cool little mechanism. I'm not sure how easy it's going to be to manipulate once it's down in the tunnel there, but I'm not sure how well you're going to be able to pick this up. But there's a little space in here which will lift these elements and allow you to remove it like that. So that will come in handy for the removal process as well, because I probably didn't display that very well. It was pretty hard to get in down there. So what I'm going to do is put it in there and then try and re-secure across and then drop it down like that. And if necessary, I'll go a couple more clips down, but I don't want to bend the metal right now. All right, so after a lot of sausage fingering back here, I have that clip mounted around the elastic band that they sent to me. And then, in theory, I should just be able to drop this over here. Of course, that was in theory. You're in my way, camera. All right, nice work. Teamwork makes the dream work. So that is on there. So for better or worse, I did not get TRW outer tie rods because I didn't know that was the OEM manufacturer when I ordered these. So let's see if I can cut these off. So this is the outer tie rod end. It's got a little boot over there. It comes with a new lock nut. I think that's a lock nut. Yeah, it looks like it's got some nylon in there. So we're gonna compare this to the original. Make sure it's the same length here, which close, but maybe a couple extra turns are gonna be needed because where that scratch line is there, looks like there's about 4 or 5 millimeters of difference. So I'm gonna thread this on here 25 times. All right, got the nut on there. Start again. 1, 2. 5, 26. We'll snap this back up. We'll tighten that down to probably 25 foot-pounds. That's not in any book, so feel free to look that up for yourself, but that should accomplish what this is. So before, this was falling at every angle. There's a little bit more support there now, so it should be tightening it up.